In life, when fate pushes you to the deepest valley, it always leaves a path for you to climb back up. You might feel the road ahead is stressful, but the more difficult it is, the more turns and opportunities there are. If you find your life tiring, confusing, and challenging, listen to these 5 stories about the 5 donkeys to help you break free from your struggles. The first story is called The Complaining Donkey. It tells of a donkey that, after a long day of plowing, complained to the dog, "Doing so much work every day is really exhausting. I don't want to work anymore." The dog, hearing this, told the sheep, "The donkey says it's too tired and blames the owner for giving it too much work." The sheep then told the chicken, "The owner gives the donkey a lot of work. I wonder if other donkeys have this much work too." The chicken then told the pig, "The donkey doesn't want to work for the owner anymore. It wants to work for someone else." When the owner fed the pig said, "Master, the donkey's mind seems troubled. It says it doesn't want to work for you anymore and wants to find a new owner." Hearing this, the owner became very angry and slaughtered the donkey the next day. Just because of one complaint, the poor donkey met a tragic end. Many of us are like the donkey in the story. When faced with difficulties in life, they prefer to complain to others. But they don't realize that blindly blaming others only drags them deeper into the mire. I once heard a saying, "Never complain to anyone because 20% don't care and the other 80% are glad." True maturity is silently enduring pain and dealing with everything alone. After a failed startup, a young man had to struggle alone with life's difficulties, lacking enough food and clothing. But whenever his family and friends asked about his work, he always said things were going well and never mentioned his hardships. He knew that no matter how tough life was, he had to bear it alone. This strong heart eventually led him to achieve career success. If complaining could solve problems, there wouldn't be so many difficulties and failures. Constantly talking about your hardships everywhere not only hinders others, but also holds you back. The second story is called The Angry Donkey. There was a donkey turning a millstone when a stray dog suddenly came and mockingly said, "You stupid donkey, you only like to pull the millstone in the yard and will never be as happy as me." Hearing this, the donkey became very angry and hurriedly ran out to chase the dog. But the dog ran too fast and the donkey couldn't catch up. When the donkey returned, the more it thought about it, the angrier it became, losing all motivation to work. At this moment, the owner's young son ran into the yard. With no place to vent its anger, the donkey kicked the child, causing him to fall to the ground, bleeding from his head and crying loudly. The owner heard the child crying, rushed over, and was very angry, thinking the donkey had gone mad, and sold it to the slaughterhouse. In daily life, if we can't control our bad emotions, once we vent them, we end up paying the price for our anger. The American novelist Ellen Hopkins once said, "Anger is a normal emotion. It only becomes bad when you lose control and do things you don't want to do." Don't let emotions control your actions. Always keep a cool and calm head if you don't want to cause regrettable consequences. Writer Mark Twain also suggested a method to curb anger. He said, "When angry, count to 4. When very angry, swear." This is considered a way to delay anger, helping you release emotions, and giving you more time to think about the conflict. Speaker Anthony Robbins once said, "The secret to an outstanding life lies in knowing how to control the power of emotions, instead of letting them work against you." When something happens, stay calm and give your emotions time to cool down. Handle your mind first, then the situation. Analyze your feelings first, then analyze the problem. Only by mastering your emotions can you control and manage your life. The third story is called The Desert Donkey. In an African desert on a summer night, a strong donkey was quietly grazing. A few bats silently landed on its back, and the donkey immediately shook and swished its tail, trying to drive them away. At this moment, the bat stuck out its tongue and gently licked the donkey's back. The donkey began to feel more comfortable and stopped trying to shoo the bats away, continuing to graze. In this way, the donkey was comfortably anesthetized, and the bat took a small bite. After a while, the bat started sucking the donkey's blood along with its fellow bats. One of the weaknesses of human nature is the craving for comfort and ease, ultimately leading to self-destruction little by little. As someone once said, the comfort zones of the environment, the mind, and habits are like moving from one pigsty to another. When you fall into them, it seems quite comfortable, but you have to pay for all the conveniences. The comfort you enjoy is gradually corroding you. I once met a friend who worked for a well-known newspaper. When he first started working, print newspapers were still dominant, and being a journalist was a prestigious and well-paid profession. So he lived very comfortably. He said, "I clock in at work on time every day, attend dinners on weekends, drink and boast with friends and colleagues." He once thought such a pleasant life could last forever, but reality gave him a slap in the face. When new media emerged, along with the rapid development of the internet, colleagues quickly changed careers or adapted to new working methods. On the other hand, he didn't know what to do except dive into drinking. Once a person becomes comfortable, they are slowly swallowed by the inertia of that comfort. Many people don't achieve great things, not because they lack ability or opportunity, but because they choose comfort and stop working too early. In the adult world, whether you stand out or fall behind has its causes and effects. The more easy happiness you enjoy now, the more ordinary pain you will have to endure in the future. The fourth story is called The Arrogant Donkey. At a temple, there was a donkey that turned a millstone. One day, the head monk led the donkey down the mountain to transport a Buddha statue. When they reached the foot of the mountain, passers-by saw the donkey and immediately knelt on both sides, pressing their hands together in respect. Seeing this, the donkey couldn't help but feel elated, thinking that people were worshipping it. After returning to the temple, the donkey believed it had a noble status and refused to do its work of turning the millstone. The monks had no choice but to take it back down the mountain. As soon as the donkey reached the foot of the mountain again, it saw a crowd in the distance. It proudly stood in the middle of the road, expecting people to bow to it once more. Unexpectedly, when people saw the donkey blocking their way, they got angry and chased it away with sticks. The donkey hurried back to the temple, feeling sad and indignant, lamenting, "People are so fickle. The first time they showed me respect, but today they turned against me." The monks sighed and said, "You are indeed a donkey." That day, people were bowing not to you, but to the Buddha statue on your back. Many people become blindly confident when they gain power, forgetting that sometimes their success isn't because they are better than others, but because they are fortunate to be in a higher position. A person's value does not lie in how high their status is or how sought after they are, but in clearly understanding themselves, avoiding arrogance, and making fewer mistakes. In this world, regardless of who you are or what position you hold, you should remain humble, continuously learn, seek knowledge, and cultivate virtue to avoid mistakes and troubles. The fifth story is called The Donkey That Fell into the Well. A donkey unfortunately missed its step and fell into a deep, dry well. It cried out in despair, hoping for its owner's help. The owner, after trying and feeling powerless, shook his head and walked away. The donkey tried to jump up repeatedly, but the well was too high, and it kept falling back down without being able to escape. Every day, people from the area came to the well and dumped trash into it. The donkey didn't want to be buried under the garbage. So each time trash was thrown in, it shook off the trash and stepped on it. By doing this, it slowly climbed up with the trash under its feet. Eventually one day, it raised its head and touched the top of the well. With that, it sprang up with strength and escaped from the well, returning successfully to the surface. Faced with desperate circumstances and no help, if the donkey had given up, it would have been buried at the bottom of the well, but it never gave up, continued to try its best, and found a way to save itself, ultimately gaining a new life. A Taiwanese essayist was born into a poor family but loved literature from a young age. Once, he told his father about his dream of becoming a writer, but his father dismissed it, saying that in such a dire situation with no food to eat and no clothes to wear, dreaming of becoming a writer was the height of luxury and a far-fetched fantasy. Despite the lack of understanding and support from his family, he never gave up on his dream. After finishing secondary school, he left his hometown and went out to work. He ran a street stall, did laundry, carried goods, and even slaughtered pigs in a slaughterhouse. He shared that he earned money by working as a laborer during the day and wrote feverishly at night, determined to write 2,000 words each day. Through his efforts, at the age of 17, he published his first novel in a newspaper and successfully embarked on the path of becoming a writer. When you regard all the joys and sorrows, gains and losses in life as experiences, you will face life with a calm and open-hearted attitude. Once you understand your own value, there's no need to fear not having a path forward. In this world, no one can be strong for you. You have to fight for what you want. When no one holds an umbrella for you, learn to be your own shelter. When no one helps you, learn to support yourself. In this life, relying on yourself is the only way out. Life is an endless process of practice. Only by continually refining and accumulating can you live the way you want. I wish all of us walk our own paths well, dare to overcome obstacles, and live truly strong and successful lives. What do you think about these 5 stories? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to support me by subscribing to the Dharma Beacon YouTube channel to receive notifications about the latest videos.